Stoveleg Media, igniting conversation.
Welcome to True Crime to Go. What can I get for you?
Looking for a serial killer with an alphabet problem? Something about an alibi.
Pull up to the second window and we'll see you next crime.
Welcome to True Crime to Go. I'm John, here as always with my boy Jamie. How's life, brother?
Things are good. I'm excited about this case today. This is one I've had my eye on for a while, and I think it's going to be good for True Crime to Go. We'll get it in 10 minutes or less.
All right, man. Well, I'll let you get the ball rolling.
This is in the Prince George area, British Columbia, and our scene starts on November 27th of 2010, where a rookie officer for the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, the RCMP, named Aaron Kaler, saw a GMC pickup truck speeding and driving erratically along Highway 27, which is called the Highway of Tears, which I'll talk more about later. It was impossible to predict what he would see when he approached the driver, and especially considering this was his first year as an officer, he wasn't ready for what he was about to stumble upon.
Yeah, man. What he saw was a young man covered in blood. Now, this is a pretty remote area, and it was fairly notorious for poaching. So no matter what the blood was from, this guy had obviously been up to no good, right? So when questioned about the blood, the driver gave a pretty memorable quote. He said that he had been hunting and clubbed a deer to death. He said, and quote, "I'm a redneck. That's what we do for fun." Now listen, you and I are from remote areas where hunting is a big thing to do. Have you ever known anybody to quote unquote club a deer to death?
How do you catch the deer to club it? That's my number one question. Deer are fast.
I have theories, but we'll just move on.
As backup arrived, the officers knew there was something more going on here. They detained the driver of the vehicle, who they identified as 20-year-old Cody Lejbakov. As they started to search the vehicle, their worst suspicions were confirmed. They found a bloody wrench, a bloody multi-tool, a monkey backpack, which is...
What is a monkey backpack?
A child's backpack in the shape of a monkey.
Okay, that makes sense.
Inside that backpack, they found a wallet with the identification for 15-year-old Lauren Leslie.
Yeah, they were able to track down where Cody had been, and they quickly discovered Lauren's body. Cody was immediately arrested and was charged with murder, but that was not the end of the story. When they analyzed his DNA against other unsolved cases, they discovered that he had killed several other women along that same highway.
Now identified as one of Canadians' youngest serial killers, but not the youngest, Cody was connected to the murders of 35-year-old Jill Stacy Stachanko, 35-year-old Cynthia Moss, and 25-year-old Natasha Montgomery. All these murders were very violent. There were heavy injuries to the body, as well as evidence of sexual assault. So it's like he raped these women and then unleashed his anger on them, leading to their death, sometimes choking them to death, sometimes beating them to death.
But Cody insisted that he was innocent. Yes, he was involved, but he claimed the actual killing was done by a drug dealer and some of his henchmen. Now, Cody refused to name these individuals and only called them X, Y, and Z. Obviously, nobody bought this story, and on September 11th of 2014, he was found guilty on all 4 counts of first-degree murder. As we have discussed before, the maximum sentence in Canada without the possibility of parole is 25 years, and that was what Cody was given.
And that's total. So he's running all these sentences concurrently. If you're trying to give an alibi, how good is an alibi if you don't tell their real name?
Yeah, I mean, you got to give more than my friend X.
Either you shut your mouth and don't give an alibi, or you give the name. You don't give a nickname. It's ridiculous. He was also added to the National Sex Offender Registry due to the sexual abuse of the victims. Now, here's a weird legal issue, John. There's a statute in Canada that allows individuals to apply for parole after 15 years. This is referred to as the faint hope clause. So this is an opportunity for people with longer sentences up to 25 years to say, I have no hope of getting out, or this is ruining my life and I can be reformed earlier. Let me at least ask for parole after 15 years. There's a law in the books now that says that murderers are not eligible for the faint hope clause. But that rule was added after Cody's conviction. So technically, in 2029, he's going to be eligible through this clause to apply for parole. The process is simply to apply through the Chief Justice in your province where you're convicted.
Yeah, in this case, it doesn't seem likely because the British Columbia Supreme Court Justice Glenn Parrott is still around. After the trial, Parrott said of Cody, "He lacks any shred of empathy or remorse. He should never be allowed to walk among us again," end quote. So, I mean, it seems like it is a long shot at best for him to be able to apply and get paroled.
He committed these murders when he was 20. There was a serial killer that started when he was 17, so not the youngest. We know of these 4 victims, but there certainly could be more. Highway 27 is called the Highway of Tears, and it's called that because there are high numbers of indigenous females that live along that route that have gone missing and have been found murdered. It's an ongoing issue, and there have been several murderers already caught and kidnappers already caught, but this continues to happen. I've listened to a lot of new podcasts lately focused just on cases occurring on this highway, and it's a real problem that needs real attention. And this case certainly falls into it, but it's neither the beginning or the end. It's just such a sad story for the people of that area, with it being so remote and targeting these indigenous women. It's just a place that people go to carry out their violent fantasies.
Jamie, this was a good one, and I think this could be one that we could possibly expand into the larger format of True Crimecast and cover it again over there sometime.
Yeah, we may get around to that, but it was so interesting to me. I wanted to go ahead and get it out on the show as soon as we could, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did.
Guys, we appreciate you tuning in to True Crime to Go, 10 minutes or less, true crime story. Don't forget to hit us up on Patreon, leave a rating and a review. We appreciate you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Would you like crime with that?
You've listened to True Crimecast, distributed by Stoveleg Media. Check out stoveleg.com to find out more about your hosts and to find other podcasts to listen to. Stoveleg Media, igniting conversation.